Tell me, what do you see when you look at this picture of the Statue of Liberty? I want to show you something you never saw before. How many points or rays are on her head? And what color is this torch she's holding in her hands? Have you ever thought of the Illuminati this way? What does Illuminati mean? It means the illuminated ones, right? And I did a video on what Lucifer really means, the term Lucifer in Greek. Now, the term Lucifer means light bearer. It doesn't mean he is the light. Okay? It means light bearer or upholder. You see, he used to be God's right-hand man, and he used to uphold the light. Now, what does he do, or what does he claim among these Luciferians and these secret societies like the Illuminati or the illuminated ones? He claims to be a light. Okay? And he's not. He used to bear the light. And no wonder, for Satan himself transforms himself into an angel of light. In other words, he deceives people into thinking that he is the light. This is what the Illuminati has been deceived into believing. Now, why am I even talking about this? I was talking about the Statue of Liberty, right? Well, just stick with me here. And I saw a woman drunken with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Jesus. When I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. And the angel said unto me, Where didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman and the beast that carrieth her, which have 7 heads and 10 horns. Okay, now, with the Statue of Liberty, the Statue of Liberty is made in the image of Semiramis, the true whore of Babylon, the original, aka original whore of Babylon. Semiramis was Nimrod's mother and wife, and started the mystery religions which these secret societies follow. The first religion, where Nimrod claimed to be the god of the sun god, Sol Invictus, and Semiramis became the moon god. And if you look at any images of Semiramis, she has 7 rays on her head. And what are these rays? They're illumination. You have illuminated ones as heads. 7 illuminated ones. See that? And what else about this woman? She holds a gold cup, right? Let's see if I can find it. Golden cup. Handful of abominations. Now, am I saying the Statue of Liberty is literally the whore of Babylon? Well, it could be in an archetype type of a sort of way. Notice it's gold colored. See that? Yeah, isn't that intriguing? And who was it that gave us this Statue of Liberty? It was the Masons from France that gave it to the North American Freemasons. Statue of Semiramis, the original whore of Babylon. She sits on many waters. Notice the water. Need to scroll down a little bit, if I can. Oh, you can see it there. She sits on many waters. Okay? and here, just a sec, let me show you something else regarding sailors and such. And he cried with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all the nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth have waxed rich through abundance of her delicacies. You see how this is pointing to the Illuminati? Because the Illuminati has gone under different names throughout the ages. At one time it was the Gnostics. What is Gnostics? The exact same type of idea. You're saved through knowledge, through illumination. Your mind is illuminated with some sort of secret knowledge which others do not know about. And this makes you a god. It says the original lie of the devil in the Garden of Eden. For God doth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. So this is what the devil said to Adam and Eve. There's a tree of knowledge of good and evil. The Gnostics were seeking forbidden knowledge so that they could become gods. It's the same lie. The lie that the devil told in the Garden of Eden is being believed 6,000 years later by these people. The knowledge of good and evil. No, I'm not saying the Apple, the companies of the occult, am I? Actually, not Steve Jobs, but rather his partner was in the occult. Here's the first advertisement for an Apple computer for $666. We have Newton sitting under a tree with an enlightened, illuminated apple. Forbidden fruit of knowledge. Very interesting, right? Yes, Steve Jobs' partner was an occultist. Now, of course, I don't believe everything you see on these conspiracy theories, but this stuff is actually true. Co-founder, Wozniak. Okay, why am I getting into Apple? Where am I going all over the place here? Because it's interesting, you know? You can see how some of this stuff falls together. These secret societies are built off the mystery religions. Okay, and these mystery religions echo all the way back to the Tower of Babel. Sort of a false trinity. Semiramis and her son Nimrod. And Semiramis had a child after Nimrod died. I think it was Tammuz, right? And then you also have the Egyptians' religion based off this, Isis and Horus. And after that, it just continued on and on. Even in Rome, Constantine tried to meld this occultic mystery religion with Christianity, with the fact that he worshipped Sol Invictus even after he supposedly became a Christian. Sol Invictus means sun god worship. And who was the sun god? Nimrod. Okay? A lot of the people who started our country were occultists. Albert Pike in the 3 World Wars. It's very interesting how a man in 1870 describes the wars of the world to a T before they even happen. And even the Third World War seems quite intriguing, considering how it fits into our current predicaments with the Islamic world and Zionism. First World War must be brought about in order to permit the Illuminati to overthrow the power of the czars in Russia and of making that country a fortress of atheistic communism. The divergence caused by the agents of the Illuminati between the British and Germanic empires will be used to foment this war. It has been proven that most of those who were in Russia, in charge of Russia after it became communistic, were illuminated Jews. Not saying the Jews are part of this, but it is kind of interesting how most of those in charge were Jewish, but mostly Masonic Jews, Freemasonry Jews. And at any rate, let's just read a little bit here. At the end of the war, communism will be built and used in order to destroy the other governments in order to weaken the religions. Second World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences between the fascists and the political Zionists. This war must be brought about so that Nazism is destroyed, and that the political Zionism be strong enough to institute a sovereign state of Israel in Palestine. During the Second World War, international communism must become strong enough in order to balance Christendom, which would be then restrained and held in check until the time we would need it for the final social cataclysm. By the way, Albert Pike was a Luciferian. Third World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences caused by the agenter of the Illuminati between the political Zionists and the leaders of the Islamic world. The war must be conducted in such a way that Islam, the Muslim Arabic world, and political Zionism, the state of Israel, are mutually destroy each other. Meanwhile, the other nations, once more divided on the issue, will be constrained to fight to the point of complete physical, moral, spiritual, and economical exhaustion. we shall unleash the nihilists and the atheists, and we shall provoke a formidable social cataclysm, which in all of its horror will show clearly to the nations the effect of absolute atheism, origin of savagery, and of the most bloody turmoil. Then everywhere the citizens obliged to defend themselves against the world minority of revolutionaries will exterminate those destroyers of civilization, and the multitude disillusioned with Christianity, whose deistic spirits will from that moment be without compass or direction, anxious for an ideal, but without knowing where to render its adoration, will receive the true light through the universal manifestation of the pure doctrine of Lucifer, brought finally out in public view. This manifestation will result the general reactionary movement which will follow the destruction of Christianity and atheism, both conquered and exterminated at the same time. Okay, so it's very interesting that we have Bush as being part of Skull and Bones, Bush Jr. And Bush Sr. also is obviously an adherent to the Illuminati with the New World Order. He was also in attendance when they put the capstone on the Great Pyramid. Also, we have their father, can't remember his name, something Bush, who was a senator, Bush Sr.'s father, and he was also part of the Illuminati. Actually Freemasonry, I'm sorry. And he said some very interesting stuff on video. What was it he said? I'm trying to remember. He started saying some terms about the Cold War way before the Cold War occurred, which I found very interesting. The Cold War between Russia and America. He was already using those terms way back, way before anything like that was even around. It's very interesting how it's like he knew what was going to happen. So was any of this all planned out? It's kind of interesting, right? And here we have the plan right in front of your eyes on the dollar bill. This is not an eagle, though we're told it's an eagle. It's actually a phoenix, which is the god, I think it's of destruction, where you would have renewal. You first destroy the old and then bring in the new. And that would be the new world order. So America would have to be destroyed for this new world order to come into place. Okay? Could this whore be destroyed? And the great city behind her? Maybe a nuclear attack? And then all the shipmates and all the people of the city mourn for her loss. Here, let's read it in Scripture. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her, when they shall see her smoke of her burning, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city of Babylon, that mighty city, and from 1 hour is thy judgment come. And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise any more. And you can see all these things on the list, even slaves, which actually, interestingly, I saw someone's viewpoint on how there's slaves involved. Could you be a slave? Listen to this. This is kind of crazy sounding, but it actually makes sense. Is America the only place where our birth certificates are actually a bond? Where we're bonded to a debt that we didn't create? That we have to pay for a debt to a private organization that pretends to be a governmental organization, the Federal Reserve, who prints money and puts us into debt? It's an interesting take on it, but it could be an archetype of the whole thing. But I mean, you can see kind of some interesting metaphors with this whole thing.